It didn't take long for the Kasuki to arrive at the scene. Just as dawn broke, the bright sun rise coloring the clear blue sky beautifully. A crow was sent to announce the news of Kojiro's unfortunate death to the Urarishiki-sama and the other Hashira. Rengoku Kojiro has fallen in battle. Squawk, defeated by the Upper Moon 3. 200 lives saved. Shinobu calmly made her way down the empty corridors of the Butterfly Manor. Her heart ached within her chest as she headed towards the room where you were. She had left Aioi along with Nayo, Koyo, and Sumi to watch over Tayu in the other room. What am I going to tell her? How am I going to explain the news to her? Shinobu thought, her eyes full of sorrow. 'Tis a sad day indeed. She soon halted in her steps as her eyes slowly widened in surprise to see Tengen standing in front of the door to the room you were in. Usui-san, Shinobu questioned, walking up to him. She saw that he was holding and petting Yin's pet dwarf squirrel, Fuwa. Clearly, he had stopped the little squirrel from delivering the dread news to Yin. The sound pillar didn't spare her a glance, as he simply stared mindlessly at the door, his eyes glassy and expression stoic. That was obvious. He had been crying. I'll tell her. Tengen spoke, his voice is soft and monotone. Understanding? Shinobu nodded. You hummed a small tune as you prepared some tea for yourself. Today had been somewhat slow and very quiet without anyone around, save for the butterflies, a few Kabushiki members, and Ruru. You were deciding whether or not to add Ginsen when you heard the door open, strolling in. Upon turning around, you released a sigh, finally seeing that it was Uzui. Oh, it's only you, Tengen. You say and noticed that Fuwa was with him as she climbed down his person and scrambled over to you. Fuwa? You raised a brow in question as she tucked herself into the opening of your Kosuba. I probably said that wrong. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be at home with Senjiro. He then glanced back up at Tengen. For a moment, he said nothing as he calmly approached you. You glanced at him in confusion, also wondering what it is he wanted. Tengen? What's the matter? You ask softly as he stops inches from you, his fuchsia eyes cold and void of that shine you're so used to seeing. Yin, he muttered, your name softly, his voice not carrying that boisterous tone. There's something I need to tell you. What is it? Worried coursed through your veins. A crow came this morning, he says quietly. It's about Kojiro. At the sound of your beloved's name, your expression quickly lightens as excitement fills your heart. Ko, has he returned? Your eyes shined happily, and Tengen immediately felt his heart clench to see you so happy. However, this is far from a happy moment, and he hated to be the bearer of bad news. Where is he? Is he here? You quickly glanced around Tengen's tall frame, hoping to see your husband standing there behind him. Alas, you were only met with no such thing, and only saw Shinobu there. I'm sorry if I cried during this. Your heart drops, and you clench the teacup in your hands as Tengen gently places his hand on your shoulders. You try to stay positive, thinking everything's alright and that Kojiro has returned home safe and sound. Everything's okay. Kojiro's okay. Right? I'm sorry, Yin. Tengen's words snapped you back. Your blood instantly ran cold as your smile fades when you see his expression. What do you mean, Tengen? You swallow thickly, feeling uneasiness, dread course through you. What happened? Is Ko injured? You asked. Please let him be injured. Please let him be injured and not. Tengen bit his lip as a single tear slips down his face. The silence between you is thick, and you feel your heart sink down into the pit of your stomach. Dread washes over you. Kojiro's dead, Yin. He finally tells you. You stared, open-mouthed, unable to comprehend what he just told you. Momentarily, there's a shriek at first. Shinobu thought it must have been the kettle whistling over the Hichijin grill, but quickly realized that the cry had come from you, as you broke down crying, whilst begging Tengen to tell you what happened to your husband. You had dropped the teacup, and it had shattered on the floor. A sudden sensation of intense sorrow shuddered up your spine. No! The tears clouded your vision and opening new wounds to show you that you're not going to be alone for the rest of your life. No, Tengen! No, you're lying! Don't lie to me! You cried, bursting your fists against the sound pillar's chest, and he immediately wraps his arms around you as he holds you tightly, wanting you to let it all out. However, it does little to soothe the painful ache that was bubbling in your heart, your broken sobs and cries echoing throughout the butterfly estate. You thought of Kojiro's smile, how his eyes shined with love and joy, tears like rain on an afternoon sunset sliding down your face. I'm so sorry, Yin. Tengen wishes he was lying. God, he wished it was so hard, and seeing you cry only tugged harder at his heartstrings even more. No! You refused to believe him, even against all logic. There was lack of evidence. Where is he? Where? A cold chill replaces the warmth of the room of the substantial rolls off you in thick waves. You refuse to believe. Even if your mind told you the truth, told you that Kojiro is here and somewhere waiting for you, if it was this room, he would have already revealed himself to you. He would have already embraced you in his arms, and would already kissing you and telling you, I love you, in that unroaringest voice. Let me go! Let me go! You cried, wiggling frantically within Tengen's hold. This cannot be true. You refuse to believe your lover is dead and gone, as you eventually managed to roughly pry yourself away from Tengen. Shuffling slightly, you quickly ran towards the door, causing Shinobu to quickly step aside as you ran past her in both your hesitation and delirium. Yin! Tengen calls after you. Where are you going? Asked Shinobu, but you didn't stop. Your heartbeat pounded loudly in your ear as you passed by several members of the demon slaying course, heading for the exit. You felt your world closing in, your tears clouding your vision as you opened the door and stepped outside. 'Tis a bright and sunny morning. However, the sunrise never felt so dark. For a brief second, you swear you saw Kojiro standing there, ready to embrace you. But it's only your grief-sickened mind playing cruel tricks on you. You regretted sending him off to the fucking Mugen train mission. You wish you would have went along with him, even if he told you no. Yet you let him sweet-talk you out of it. You knew he was strong enough to fend and take care of himself. You prayed that he never encountered an upper moon every night and day. And now they're telling you he's dead? Kojiro can't be dead. You laughed. He just can't. You refuse to believe. In the silence, you can hear your heart pound faster in your ears. You look up at the sky, the morning sun just peeking over the trees. Your breathing increased faster and faster as your desperation chokes you. You had to know. The temperature around you lowers as solid ice and frost bites to surround you. You concentrate as frost and ice taken on jagged shapes. Yin! You hear Shinobu call you, but only then to hear her gasp at the sight of you. Shinobu, get back! Exclaimed Tengen just as a pair of massive... Oh, what the how did we get here? Massive angel-like wings made of ice suddenly manifest from your back. To Shinobu and Tengen, they looked fragile, but you We're reforming them to stay stable and furnished. Yin, whatever you're about to do, don't, Tengen says. Just calm down. It's all right. We're here for you. So please don't do anything rash. He tries to assure you. However, you're not listening. Tengen, came your monotone voice. Where is Ko? You asked, still glancing blankly at the sky. The Kanakuyushi are bringing his body here. They may be at the train wreckage, he replies. The train wreckage. So the train has derailed somewhere along the tracks. And if what Tengen's telling is true, then you'll have time to meet up with the Kazukis. Yin, listen, everything's going to be okay. We're gonna help you through this, says Shinobu. You could definitely hear the worry in her tone, and that it made you feel truly blessed to have such kind and caring friends like her and Tengen. Yes, it wasn't enough to stop you from the ice forming within your heart. You cannot accept this reality. It cannot end this way. You've been lonely for so long, and Kojiro had been your godsend. You two were meant to be together forever. It's far too soon for it to all end in tragedy. The air around you grew colder and colder, the result of your mental curse, almost to the point of becoming absolutely zero, as those wings made of ice slowly flapped. Yin, please, don't do this. Shinobu tried to get you again, slowly reaching a hand out to you. Think of your son, Tayu. You truly did. Truly did. However, a life without Kojiro is just... Not finishing that thought, you refused to glance back at her and Tengen. With tears in your eyes, you smiled sadly. I'm sorry. Take care of him for me. With a sudden burst of energy, you took flight, leaving behind a cluster of ice and snow as you did.